Hello ladies and gentlemen, Coach Travis here, personal trainer, nutritionist, and general fitness aficionado. Today's video is one that I have been waiting to do for some time. It's one that I've been really excited to do. I am going to be talking about my carnivore diet, why I got into it, and some of the amazing results that I have been having. So to tell you where I was, back in March or so, I was dieting pretty hard for a photo shoot that I was doing at about 2,500 calories. I was starving, I was miserable, I was getting quite lean, but it was an extremely uncomfortable process. So I listened to a few different bodybuilding coaches which I respect and follow, and one of them talked about his ketogenic protocols for contest prep and how one of the effects was that you were less hungry when dieting, and that was all it took for me to try this keto approach out. I took to it like a duck to water. I really liked it from the get-go. I wasn't as hungry. I was stronger in the gym. Still eating about the same amount of calories. I dropped the protein down to about 1 gram per pound of body weight and cranked the fat up to about the same. Now I was still eating a lot of green veggies, spinach, cabbage, cauliflower, the really low carb, sort of keto friendly veggies, but as I explored more into this keto space, I heard more and more about this carnivore diet. Guys like Joe Rogan and Jordan Peterson were having amazing results with it, so I wanted to look into it, though still very skeptical. It sounded crazy to me from the beginning. I mean, I was brought into nutrition and earned my certification learning that vegetables were necessary, that you needed to eat your vegetables. I mean, everybody knows that, right? Maybe not. So as I looked into it, I decided to invest in a couple books: Carnivore Code, Dr. Paul Saladino, Carnivore Diet by Dr. Sean Baker. And these books were absolutely illuminating. They talk about biology, biochemistry, history, anthropology, archaeology, how meat ended up being demonized today. As you know, we all hear, oh, red meat's gonna give you heart disease and cancer and all this crazy garbage. It turns out that people have been eating red meat, more of it and longer than any other type of food, and it's probably responsible for us evolving the brains and the digestive systems that we have today. Us really becoming the dominant species on this planet was because of meat. So I decided to jump right in. I was sold. So what do I eat? Well, right now I am eating about 4,000 calories a day, sometimes even a bit more. Generally grass-fed beef, mostly beef, ground beef, steaks, roasts. I prefer the meat of ruminant animals, unless of course the chicken or pork has been raised on a corn and soy-free diet. Just got a big shipment of corn and soy-free pork and chicken in, so I'm pretty stoked about that. I also eat eggs, butter, cheese. Not everybody does so well with the dairy, so figure that out for yourselves, but I seem to handle it just fine. I also eat a lot of organs, so I'll eat at least 2 ounces of liver, kidney, and heart a day. I also eat bone marrow, cartilage, all the chewy bits that we tend to throw out. I believe all of it has unique nutritional benefits. Seafood. Now, I do not eat a lot of seafood. Unfortunately, our seas are pretty polluted these days. A lot of mercury, a lot of pollutants in seafood and also the fishing industry is absolutely destroying our oceans. The biorhythms, the trophic levels are all messed up. Pollution, the fishing industry is responsible for more than 50% of the pollution in the oceans, so I tend to stay away from seafood for those reasons. Now occasionally I will have what I call a keat meal. It's kind of like a cheat meal, but I still adhere to the ketogenic protocols. It's just going to be widening my diet a little bit from carnivore to keto for maybe one meal every couple of weeks. But still keto, 99% carnivore. As for the results, the experiential results for me, one, way less hungry. Way less hungry. Even when I am in a calorie deficit, it doesn't feel like I am dieting. It's much more comfortable. Energy, my energy is constant throughout the day. It doesn't matter when I eat. I generally only eat twice a day now. I will train fasted in the morning. I can do my weights, I can do my cardio completely fasted, and I am just as strong fasted as I am fed because my body's running off of fat now instead of having to rely on glucose. So in the gym, I've been gaining strength like crazy. I put up a new max the other day, 350 pounds on the bench press. Still getting good pumps, great vascularity. Without the carbs, may not be getting as much of a pump because my body isn't storing as much glycogen, but with a good pre-workout, it's hardly noticeable. Especially my legs have been crazy vascular lately. Now, my body composition has been phenomenal. I'm gaining weight. I'm up over 210 pounds right now, and I am almost as lean as I was when I was crash dieting. I mean, I am not in a calorie deficit by any means. I know that because I'm gaining weight, but as you guys can see, quite lean on upwards of 4,000 calories a day. Now, injuries, when you lift a lot of weights, when you're playing rugby, doing conditioning, injuries just kind of become a part of life. It's just like, what injury are you dealing with right now? I had a jammed toe on my left foot. The ball of my foot was jammed. My left shoulder used to pop. Sort of just things we deal with. Since this diet, it has not been a problem. It's gotten better over time. Other general things, my skin is smooth and tan and completely acne free. Now, when you're a guy like me, you sweat a lot, working out 2+ times a day, not always having time to shower. Even if you're not particularly acne prone, it still happens, and my skin is clearer today than it has ever been. I am also a lot less gassy. I've never been really that gassy of a person, but now it's like, did I fart today? It's kind of crazy. Also, my bathroom habits are a lot better. It used to be every 2 or 3 days I'd have a really uncomfortable bowel movement, and it was just awful uncomfortable. When I was getting to that point, I would feel like crap. Now I generally have a daily manageable snake, so that's a lot better. Who says you need fiber? I don't need any fiber, and I poop way better than I did. Now, sleep has been a huge problem for me. Ever since puberty, I've been like a level 10 insomniac. I still have to take medication for it, but since this diet, I have noticed that I am getting to sleep a lot more regularly. I can kind of count on that I'm going to fall asleep within 45 minutes to an hour of going to bed pretty regularly, which is huge for me because I've never been able to do that my entire adult life. Libido. Now, when I was on that heavy crash diet, I had no libido. That was mostly just because I had no calories. Like, you're literally starving. Today, it is higher than it has ever been. I mean, every morning, pretty much, I'm waking up at attention. And more than just drive or ease of acquisition, I've also been enjoying my sex life to a degree that I haven't before. And I think that it could very well, at least partially, be due to this diet. Now, lastly, as far as experiential things, my mind. This is huge. My mind is so much more clear. I can meditate and clear my mind almost indefinitely. I mean, we all still have those thoughts and things that go around, but it is like night and day how much more clear my mind is. And also, I don't have anxiety. I never thought that I had anxiety until I didn't have anxiety. When it's just your baseline, you don't really notice it. Oh, I'm not freaking out like Steph over there. Oh, I'm not as bad as Kevin because he's having a breakdown. I guess I don't have anxiety. Well, turns out I did, and now I really don't. And this isn't just me. I mean, Jordan Peterson talked about this. A lot of people that take up ketogenic and carnivore diets report that their minds work a lot better and that their anxiety is markedly improved. All right, now that's all of the stuff that I sort of experienced. Now on to the health markers, the actual hard science here. My blood pressure. I have always had high blood pressure. It's been a problem pretty much throughout my entire adult life. I've had to take medication for it, and even with the medication, my blood pressure was normally hanging out in the 150 to 90 to 100 range, so significantly elevated. Recently, my last trip to the doctor's office, it was 136 over 67. Or no, I'm sorry, last time, even more recently after I wrote this, it was even, or the systolic was even lower than that. And that's been consistent. I've been checking my blood pressure on my own, and it is consistently much closer to the normal range than it was. Now for blood work. I'm not going to talk about every single marker that I have, but the ones that have changed significantly from February to June, when I was about 3 months into this experiment, I'm going to note. So anemia, which is an iron deficiency. I was anemic. I'm no longer anemic. Lipid profile. Before I was HDL 96 or LDL 96, HDL 41. So the HDL was a little on the low side. Afterwards, I am now LDL 128, HDL 57 milligrams per deciliter. So both of them rose. The HDL is in a much better place. LDL is higher. That's the bad cholesterol, but I certainly don't think that it's bad. Maybe I'll do another video at some point talking about the misinformation surrounding cholesterol, but I'm very happy with those numbers. C-reactive protein is a measure for inflammation in the body, went from 1.13 milligrams per liter to 0.24 milligrams per liter. Now, I was told that inflammation is just kind of a part of life. If you're an athlete, if you're someone who exercises, because that's causing the inflammation. Well, turns out maybe not. I think when you get rid of all the sugars, the polyunsaturated fatty acids, and all of the phytoalexins, the plant toxins that people don't talk about but certainly affect us, your body simply doesn't have a reason to be inflamed. And without inflammation, I believe a lot of the chronic disease that is common in this world wouldn't exist. Now that is all well and good, but this last marker is the one that had both my and my doctor's jaw on the floor. And that is my glomerular filtration rate, or the rate that my kidneys were working. Now guys, I was in significant kidney failure, stage 4 kidney failure. My kidneys were filtering at 27%. I was told that this was going to be a huge problem, that you can't recover kidney function, and that I would probably be on dialysis and looking for a transport at some point in the future. And at the very least, I need to be very careful for it. 3 months carnivore, I'm at 96%. 96%, so barely, just 4 points away from completely normal. Shouldn't happen. Like all of the textbooks say that is impossible for the kidneys to heal themselves like that. But apparently, when you're not eating all of the garbage, or even not even the garbage, but just the things causing problems, it's not a problem anymore. And I don't believe that there's any other reason than this diet why those numbers would look like that. So all in all, pretty amazing results, and this just is a perfect example of why I have poured my life into nutrition and figuring out what causes disease and how humans can live their absolute best lives. And now I'm not saying that everybody should go out and be carnivore right now, or that you can reap all of these benefits that I have by going on this diet, but simply by paying attention to what we put in our bodies and eating in a way that is not just from a knee-jerk taste perspective, but one that takes into account these beautiful bodies that we have been gifted with. So thank you so much for watching. Travis Tussing. Hit me up on Facebook, Instagram. Let me train you. Let me help you build a diet plan that is going to get to your goals. Thank you so much. I love you.